ba nghiệp lặng than tên gửi lòng theo tiếng chuông. Modern science have shown us the nature of non-self in everything. When we study the brain, when we study the human body, we can discover the reality of non-self in our brain, in our body. If we practice to maintain our concentration on the wisdom of non-self in our daily life, we will get the insight of no-self. We will behave according to the wisdom of non-discrimination. From the base of wrong perceptions are born fear, anger, hate, violence, and the willingness to punish. Communication has become difficult, even between members of the same family. Even if we live in a time when there's so many sophisticated means for communication, like telephone, fax, email, etc. Very often, father cannot talk to son, mother cannot talk to daughter, husband cannot talk to wife. And when communication is difficult, impossible, harmony and happiness cannot be possible. We have wrong perceptions on ourselves. We have wrong perceptions on the other person and the other groups of persons. And wrong perceptions give rise to fear, suspicion, hate, violence, the desire to punish. That is why the basic practice for peace, for harmony, for happiness is the practice of removing wrong perceptions. Because in our daily life, we may be unskillful in our way of talking, in our way of acting. In my tradition, deep listening, compassionate listening can remove a lot of suffering. And we know that there are people who are capable of listening deeply and with compassion. In the Buddhist tradition, we speak of Avalokiteshvara, who is the one that is called the Bodhisattva of deep listening. When one is capable of listening deeply with compassion, one can help remove a lot of suffering in the other person. President Franklin Roosevelt, during the Great Depression and before the World War, called on the American people not to become victims of fear. He said, we have nothing to fear except fear itself. Because if we are victim of fear, we will do the wrong thing. We will say the wrong thing. It will cause suffering. That is why we have to be capable to protect us from the fear and the anger. And then the world will listen, will follow. And the world will admire America because America is capable of listening to herself, to her own suffering, to her own wisdom. And with that, America can start a dialogue with the other side. Using love and speech, America can say something like this: dear people, we know that you are very angry at us. Have we done anything that make you suffer that much, that give you that much anger and hate. It is not our intention to destroy you as a religion, a way of life, a people. We may have said or done something not skillful that can give you that impression, but really we do not have that intention. We want to listen to you, and then America will be able to listen deeply. And when you listen deeply, you realize that they may have wrong perceptions on themselves, wrong perceptions on America. And if you understand, and if you see that their wrong perceptions are the foundation for their fear, their anger, their hate, their violence, and then you could be able to help them remove these wrong perceptions, correct these wrong perceptions. And while listening deeply, America may realize that in her way of dealing with other people in the world, there may be some unskillfulness and so on. And listening like that will help us to adjust our behavior in order not to cause the same kind of misunderstanding and suffering in the world. It's very clear that every one of us have realized that wrong perceptions cannot be removed by the army, by the guns, by the bombs. We have not been able to reduce the level of fear, the level of hate, the level of violence with the war. Because we know that terrorism, violence, hate, and fear are born from wrong perceptions on self and wrong perceptions on the other. And in order to help correct wrong perceptions, you have to release the kind of information that can help people to correct these wrong perceptions. And the practice of deep listening, the practice of listening with compassion, are the real practices in order to remove wrong perceptions and restore communication. And if our government has not tried and is not strong enough in order to practice that, and the people have to support them, to help them to do so, there are those of us who are capable of listening deeply and with compassion. You have to invite them to come over, because such people exist in America. There are people who are capable of using loving speech in order to invite the other side to speak out their fear, their suffering, their despair. There are people who know how to express themselves with loving kindness. Because we know very well by this time that only by removing wrong perceptions that we can remove fear, anger, hate, violence, and separation.